Labour Party presidential candidate has challenged President Bola Tinubu to introduce himself again to Nigerians to let them know his true identity, his place of birth, his educational qualification. He's asked him, did he actually do an NYC? And at the Pengasan Energy Summit in Abuja, the TUC president has asked the federal government to be wary of plan to sell any of our refineries. We'll be hearing his reasons in a while. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale in Abuja. So much is happening, especially today, that the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, held a press conference and putting up a challenge to President Bola Tinubu about his identity, his qualification, and his real person, and has asked him to come clean to Nigerians and tell Nigerians about his records. We'll be getting to that in a moment. That gets us talking, and we need APC and the presidency perhaps to get some response on this one tonight. We shall be getting all of that tonight. Of course, we go to Kogi State, where it's being back-to-back of heat and a lot of allegations against the government of Kogi State, the APC, about the performance of Yaya Bello, and of course, the selection or the election of Mr. Ododo as the APC governorship candidate in that state. Kogi governorship race will be happening on the same day as Bayelsa and Imo State. We'll be getting some clarity and some response on that also tonight. It seems to be some very packed program tonight. Just stick around with me, everyone, and we get into the ride in a moment. But let's begin by letting you know what went down today as perhaps the closing part of the Pengasan Energy Summit, which has been holding here in Abuja, the nation's capital. But today, the Trade Union Congress president, who also is the Pengasan president, has thrown a word of caution to the federal government about our refineries and the running of the refineries, some of which are in the process of being rehabilitated again for use. And this is what Mr. Festus Osifo had said to the federal government, cautioning, warning. Take a listen to him.
We were shocked that Bureau for Public Enterprise did an evaluation of those refineries, and what they brought, that is the value of that refinery. I could tell you that truthfully, what they value the four refineries cannot even build half of one of the refineries today, because they wanted to sell it to their friends. They wanted to sell it to their cronies. They undervalued the refineries. So it was based on that strength that we said, no, you cannot throw away our national asset because you have vested interest. You have to fix it. After fixing it, then you could not bring about the NLNG model.
All right. First, Osifo there, president of Pengasan, throwing that word of caution to the federal government. Let things work. Let us see what works first before rushing on the issue of sale. But there those who will be asking the question, the terms of reference in the fixing, there are those private interests that have put money into fixing the refineries. What is the stake and how will that go? Of course, the running of that is going to be another debate as soon as the refineries are ready. That is not a conversation for today, everyone. We'll take a look at your political roundup stories and we'll bring you up to speed with what is happening around Nigeria in politics. Some of the stories that we'll not be discussing on the program but are important for you to get up to date with. Take a listen to them.
President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his full support for the re-election bid of Governor Hope Uzodinma in the November 11 governorship election in Imo State. The president made this known in Owerri, the Imo State capital, during the flag-off of the governorship campaign of the APC in Imo State. The president was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, and the event had in attendance the national chairman of APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, governors of Cross River, Yobe, Ogun, Kwara, Ebonyi, Sokoto, Lagos, Jigawa, Benue, and Ekiti, as well as former governor of Imo State, Ikedi Hakim, and Rochas Okorocha. The chairman of the body of benches, Justice Mary Peter Odili, is urging new lawyers to always uphold the ethics of the profession and desist from acts that could portray the legal profession in bad light. She also charged them to use their new status to champion the cause of justice and rule of law in the country. Justice Odili stated these at the call to bar ceremony of new wigs in Abuja today.
As lawyers, you are uniquely positioned to provide not just random acts of service, but world-changing, life-changing, and even view-shaping service.
The Bauchi State Governor, Bala Mohammed, says he has outlined the direction of his administration for the next 4 years and is dedicated to implementing impactful projects as legacy for the benefit of the people. Governor Mohammed was speaking during a 3-day retreat attended by commissioners, special advisors, permanent secretaries, and caretaker chairmen of local government areas in Bauchi. Ahead of the commencement of a statewide campaign in Kogi State, which commences on Thursday, the 12th of October, the African Democratic Congress is asking the federal government and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to provide a level playing ground for all candidates. Speaking in Lokoja, the capital of Kogi State, the Director General of the Leke Abejide Campaign Organization, Mr. Shola Ojo, says apart from the provision of a level playing ground, there is a need for adequate security in the state in order to ensure a peaceful poll.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So, the last, perhaps, is not yet heard about the records of President Bola Tinubu since Mr. Atiku Abubakar, the PDP presidential candidate, had gone to the United States to make inquiries and asked the Chicago State University to make public and release to him the records of the president if he truly attended. And there was a deposition after that exercise. They'd gone to court, and there was a deposition, and which has led to Mr. Atiku filing a fresh evidence to the charges which he has appealed to the Supreme Court. Now, this is a new dimension in the entire gamut of the case as it's emerged from the trial court, which is the Presidential Election Petition Court. But now, his counterpart in that race, and the candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has addressed a press conference in which he has also bared his mind on what he said is embarrassing, not to only Nigerians, but the fact that the integrity of the office of the president has been called to question. Based on the debate and the question mark that have been raised and allegations of forgery by President Bola Tinubu on his records and academic qualifications. Mr. Peter Obi addressed the conference earlier today in Abuja. Take a listen to him.
Having followed a prolonged identity crisis that recently played out in the American court system and the controversy surrounding the authenticity of the Chicago State University credentials of Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I must confess I'm distressed as a Nigerian. Uninformed outsiders now see every Nigerian as a fraudster, certificate forger, or identity thief. I therefore respectfully and humbly call on him to immediately and personally mount the rostrum of his present high office to perform a simple task once and for all time. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name, his nationality, his place of birth, his parentage, the primary and secondary school he attended with dates, as well as the actual universities he attended and certificates obtained. It should indicate clearly where and when he did his national youth service.
These are some of the queries that Mr. Peter Obi has put forward today to President Bola Tinubu, and is asking to come clean to Nigerians, to let Nigerians know what exactly is his identity and his track records and qualifications. Will the president do that? Perhaps not yet have we heard from the presidency or directly from the president about this matter since it started raging. We've heard from his lawyers, we've heard from his allies, and we've heard from party members. Tonight we'll be getting some explanation, especially for someone who is very close to the president, who's perhaps followed him and who also knows him. And hopefully we might be able to hear from the presidency what exactly are these issues. If people like Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi are asking the questions, will the president respond for the sake of Nigerians and the integrity of his office? These are questions begging for answers. We'll be getting to that. And that part of the interview, stick around with me, everyone, because we'll be getting deep into some of these issues tonight. Not only the legal angle, the moral angle, the issues of integrity as it affects Nigerians, both home and abroad, as to the proprietary and the identity of the #1 citizen of the land. Don't forget that the appeal of the Supreme Court on the outcome of the presidential election petition court is still there, and they're hoping to see how the Supreme Court will rule on that matter. So stick around with me, because we'll be getting one of my guests tonight will be discussing with us. Now, on the 11th of November this year, 3 elections will happen, governorship elections. They're off-cycle elections in Imo, in Bayelsa. Governors in those states are seeking re-election. But in Kogi State, it's a different thing entirely, because the governor there, Yaya Bello, of the AAPC, is not coming back because he would have spent two terms that is allowable under our laws. Now, there's been back and forth. I've had at least 2 governorship candidates in that state, that of the ADC and the SDP. And they point accusing fingers that the state government, the governor, is behind the violence in the state. They said that the state has been badly run, the government is not paying salaries. This is in fact beyond the governorship candidate, but the onus is on the state government to be able to come claim, explain to Nigerians, perhaps the governor, his ally, or anybody working in that government to be able to come to the people of Kogi State and explain to them whether or not in the last 8 years that state had been badly or better run. Tonight we'll be getting some explanations, and we'll ask the government to come and explain to Nigerians the state of affairs in that state. And hopefully at some point, maybe before the end of the week or next week, we'll be getting the governorship candidate of the APC, the PDP, and the rest of them to come and give an account on agenda and a manifesto for the people of Kogi State. Our focus tonight is the state of Kogi. And now I'm being joined by the Commissioner for Information, and he's also the spokesperson of the APC campaign organization, Kingsley Fanwo. He joins us virtually from Lokoja. Thank you so much, Kingsley, for joining us tonight. Give us an understanding. What worries the minds of a lot of people? Because of the violent activities that we've seen, yesterday on the program, the SDP candidate said unequivocally that the governor, your principal, is behind the violence, that the governor, Yaya Bello, is responsible and is a problem in terms of insecurity in Kogi State. How does your government react to this?
Thank you very much. As a matter of policy and a matter of class, we have decided that we will not be joining issues with the candidates of the SDP. When you talk about the coming election, we know who the contenders are. We know those who are just cheering, violence, cheering, doing a lot of blackmail, name calling, and all of that. That has been the stock in trade of the SDP since the beginning of this campaign. So we are not going to be concerning ourselves with the things he says. We need to look at the pedigree. We've had governors in the country. For instance, the present vice president was a successful banker before he became the governor of Borno State, and now he's doing very well as the vice president of the country. Come to Kogi State, Alhaji Yahya Bello was a successful civil servant, a successful businessman before he came into politics. When you talk about Muritala Yakubu Ajaka, what antecedents are you talking about? What pedigree, what integrity, what capacity is he bringing to the table? The best he was being an errand boy at the APC National Secretariat. And then, before the present governor of Kogi State ensured and supported him to become the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the party, like people will say, there is nothing Musa will not see, forget. That is what is happening now. Every part of this state has competent people to be governor. The Igalas have, the Okuns have. Look at the candidate of the Accord Party, for instance, a world-renowned military personnel who excelled while being in the military. These are the best people that any nation, any state want to put forward. Not the kind of person that is becoming a rabble-rouser, just accusing people of so many things at the same time. As far as we are concerned, there is no violence in Kogi State. The election is going to be peaceful. The election is going to be free and fair. And we are ready. We have all it takes. You see, these people making these allegations, his campaign went to Kodunkarufi and someone died. Someone was murdered. Up till today, they've not gone to see the family because it is not their business. They only went there to kill a member of the opposition party. And then you can see that he is the only person complaining. You have seen the Accord Party candidates. I'm sure he will come on the show. Our candidates will also come on the show. None of them is complaining except this man. And then he is leveling allegations, live, unsubstantiated, indefensible allegations against reputable leaders of the state on national television. And you think we always come here to say, Muri has said this, Muri has said that. He is not in this contest, like I said. No antecedent, no credibility, no capacity. And then he said it live here that he did not submit his degree certificate because he cannot even defend it. So somebody that cannot defend it is challenging a candidate of the All Progressives Congress that went to one of the best schools in the country, and is also a certified accountant, a certified auditor, who are not be in this contest with Muri. We are not in this contest with him. He's out of the race. We know the people we are competing with. He is only raising issues so that he will be the talking point. We cannot make him popular. He cannot buy popularity from us.
Kingsley, you as a Commissioner for Information, and in your capacity, if you're speaking to the people of Kogi State, you're reacting to some of the issues raised as to the integrity of your own office and the office of your principal as the governor. If the governor has been accused to be behind violent activities in the state, you're speaking to the people of Kogi State. And so let's leave politics out. I'm talking about the issue of governance. And easily, it drew inference to what happened between your principal and Dino Melaye, for example, your principal and Natasha Akpoti, what happened in Konto Karafi, what happened to Khadija. All of these issues are issues back and forth that your party, your principal, has been drawn into. What is your principal's explanation to some of these violent activities that has happened?
One of the best crime fighters in the country today is Alhaji Yahya Bello. This has been testified to by military hierarchy, by the police chiefs, by security leaders in the country, that he is one of the best crime fighters in the country. He has won many awards for this effect. So if someone who is stoking violence is now the one coming to blackmail and commit a lot of defamatory offenses against the one of the best crime fighters in the country, then we as public would have to judge this. The governor is interested in the security of the state. If the state is in turmoil today, the person that will be affected most is the governor, because the person is the chief security officer of the state. And he's doing everything with his security architecture, with his security programs and projects and policies to secure the state. Those that are causing violence in the state are doing so because they know they don't stand any chance in the coming election. I've said it over and over again. APC is the party to beat. We have the structure, we have the people, and their ethnic card is collapsing in their own faces. So the best thing and the only thing they can do is to start blackmailing and then portraying the governor That's the problem. The people of the state, they know who the problem is. They know who cannot be trusted with the affairs of this state. They know the person that went to Kotonkarufi and a lady who was not armed was killed. And without conscience, they still come out to say the lady was bearing arms. They know all these things. And on November 11, they will make a choice. They know the person they don't want in Lugard House. And they know that it is Ododo that can continue with the policy and the security of the state. They will not want someone who is undermining the security of the state. I am sure you are aware that the police issued a statement condemning the SDP candidate for what happened in Kotonkarufi. And I'm also sure that in the last 24 hours, the police had also addressed a press conference tagging Muri a security threat in the state. The commissioner of police specifically said that he is undermining his authority to ensure security in the state. He had been invited and he refused to come. And he was telling Nigerians on your platform yesterday that he was not invited. He said yesterday that schools, primary schools have been shut down in the state. Primary schools are in session in the state. He said that local government have been shut down. Local government councils are going to war. It shows you something that all he's bringing to the table is to tell lies to the public so as to win public sympathy, so as to paint the governor as the violent one here when he's actually the violent one. He has no information about the state. He has no information about education in the state. He has no information about healthcare in the state. And he wants to come and govern the state. The people know better. Muri knows that he stands no chance. You know, you are talking about people of pedigree. The Accord Party candidate rose to become the chief of naval staff of this country. The ABGA candidate, Lona, is a very successful businessman. You have a lot of them with pedigree. He knows that he does not rank in this category. And the only thing he will do is to come and then, try to paint a scenario that he is the haunted, whereas he's not the haunted. Yeah. Our candidate is the most qualified.
All right.
Professionally, he's the most competent. Professionally, politically, he's the most prepared. Administratively, he has been in this administration for the past 7 years. So he understands how to fix things.
Mr. Fowler, just a moment, if I may throw this question in. Just a moment. Just a moment.
The present administration.
Just a moment. I'm very certain that if I wish you were on the program when the gentleman, Muritala Ajaka, was raising the issue, and I'm very certain that he probably will have his own counter to all of this. But let me ask you, if Dino Melaye and Natasha Akpoti, who had one thing or the other against the governor in terms of security, because I'm still on security now, and the questions that are being raised, and those who believe or feel that any voice of dissent in the state has been shut down or fought, how do you respond to this? Because not only the fact that these persons have come to the public to scream about what they have felt in the politics of the state when there are elections, but also when opposition parties come forward and say that the governor, and they keep mentioning the name of the governor, and Ajaka here yesterday said they're after him because they know that he's a threat to a return of APC in the election of November 11.
Let me tell you this. Political contest attracts political attrition. There will be disagreements. But these disagreements should be based on issues that we are bringing to the table. The candidates should be able to come out and tell the world about their capacity to be able to take this state forward. That is what is most important. Some of the people you have mentioned are comedians, and they should be in the guild of actors in Nigeria because they just do comedy. You could see then that someone who said he was being traced said he was on the tree for how many hours? How can you be on the tree for more than 24 hours? You know, they are actors. They are trying to play up a lot of things, a lot of sentiment to win public sympathy.
I'm very certain that there isn't anything wrong with being an actor because that's a profession, Mr. Fowler. It might be offensive, Mr. Fowler. It might be offensive when you make reference. Just a moment, Mr. Fowler. It might be offensive when you make reference to other people's profession in that manner. It looks derogatory. I'm very certain that there's nothing wrong with being an actor, with being a comedian. That is how some people earn a living. So when you make such a reference, it looks like you are derogatory.
No.
And I like you
Mr.
not
Chair,
to
let me
go
correct
down.
this impression. I am not sounding derogatory. I am trying to fix A for where A belongs. Being an actor is a profession. It is a laudable one. It's a prestigious one. Being a comedian is a profession. But what I'm saying is that people that should be hired to come and perform during inauguration should not be aspiring to occupy Lugard House, where serious issues will be discussed, where policies will be determined, where programs that will affect millions of Kogites will be determined. We cannot leave this in the hands of people that are not administratively sound, people that are not politically ready, people who don't even understand this day they are coming to govern. That's what I'm trying to say.
So let's clear this also.
And comedians are people that I respect a lot, and I respect their profession too.
Let me ask you, the backlog of wages of workers in the state, when will it be cleared? How many months are left to be cleared?
I think it is not on this program that I brought out statistics to show that Kogi is one of the highest paid states in the country. At least we are the highest paid in the entire northern Nigeria, and one of the highest paid states in the country. That is one. Two, I want to challenge you to the fact that our permanent secretaries in the states, the difference between salary and some other states that I will not want to mention because of data integrity is over 200,000 naira. That is the difference. I also reeled out the different grade levels, which we would be forced to take out. Let me now ask you, which backlogs are they talking about? When Governor Yahaya Bello assumed office in January 2016, before he assumed office, he had a meeting with the NLC to avert a major strike in the state because they were being owed between 3 to 4 months' salaries by the previous administration. When he came, he has been able to clear all of these salaries. That is not even enough. We have employed more deserved, competent professionals into the civil service today than we met. And I'm telling you that we are in October. September salary had been paid before the end of September. Bring civil servants to this. I think that is the best way to go about this.
Mr. Fanwo, let me come
and talk about it.
Okay, let me be direct to you.
We have been able to pay all of that.
Just a
we are
moment.
not owing.
Hold on. Let's clarify. Let's clarify.
The number of months we've been in office.
Local government
and verify.
Are you aware that local government workers in Kogi State are being paid by percentage in Kogi State?
Mr. Shehu, we are approaching November 11, and our administration is not afraid of the truth. We are aware that they are taking percentages. Let me tell you, the spokesperson of the SDP that came on this program to complain about percentage salary payments was a local government chairman, and he paid percentages that are less than the percentage being paid today by the local government chairman in the state. Let me also correct this. The state government does not influence in any way what local government pay their staff. That is one. Secondly, what is coming into the local government is not grossly inadequate, not enough. What is happening in Kogi with this percentage is happening in virtually all the local government areas in Nigeria. You even have states where, from what in the past 6 months, they've not even been paid a dime as salaries. Go and verify all of this. So what they are paying, the percentage that they are being paid now is even higher than the percentage that we inherited. We inherited between 20 to 25%. Today, we are scaling 50%. The reason was created by some of these opposition parties when they were in power. They would just go to the neighborhood. Hey, what are you doing? I just left secondary school. Come and take appointment letters. That is why in my local government, where you have about 4 or 5 functional vehicles because of monetization policy, you have more than 23 drivers. How can any organization like that move forward? If you have a private company and you have 4 vehicles, Mr. Shiu, will you employ 23 staff? And that is why you can even see that the civil servants are now clamoring for the APC to continue. They don't want to go back to 20-25%.
So,
that is the reality.
Now, the question will be, if you met percentage payment of salary or payment of salaries of local government workers in percentage and in bits, and now 8 years down the line, they are still being paid percentage in bits, what anyone is concerned about is that the state is being controlled by your principal. It doesn't matter whether it is local government or not. It's under the control of your principal, and yet they're still being paid percentage. Does that mean that you are asking the people of the state to continue or to give your party the mandate again so that they can continue in like manner? Is that what you're saying?
The information I gave you was because I interacted with a number of local government chairmen. It is not our business as a state government to pay the staff of local government. Immediately the governor came, he made that very clear. They determine what they pay their civil servant based on what they get. And you also know that, see, those that are making these allegations, they know the truth. There are a lot of things that the local government will need to pay for: medical consumables, grading of, rehabilitation of rural roads and all of that. They have to still muster resources from the meager resources that is not even enough to pay salary to be able to do that. So to the local government workers, it is even a magic that an administration could scale 50% in the payment of salaries. Now, how were we able to move it from 20-25%? How were those local government able to move it to 50%? It means that some financial engineering is ongoing there. Go and check our website and see the local government audit reports. We are rated as one of the best in the country. And coincidentally, luckily, and happily, it was this Ahmed Usman Ododo that was the auditor for local government administration.
All right, Kingsley, just for a moment, we are due for a break.
It means that in the next 2-3 years, we will even be able to scale it even further until they are able to reach 100%. Right. That is very critical. They must know the truth. Right. The staff know the truth. It is the politicians that are trying to make politics out of it. The PDP that is complaining, Dino is complaining today that is coming to pay 100%. But he is in the PDP. The PDP was paying 20%. Why didn't he advise them to pay 100% that time? Is it even feasible? It is not possible. You can bring some of the former governors of the states to this thing. I could remember, I will not mention him, a former deputy governor invited me in 2015 for an advice on how this could be handled. And the advice I gave him is, call the civil servant, show them the papers. This is what is coming. Call the local government chairman, call the workers. Let them show the workers the papers of what is coming in and what is needed to pay salaries. And they will
Mr. Fanwo, we are due for a break. Just for a moment.
And that brought some understanding.
Yeah, we are due for a break, Mr. Fanwo. When we come back, of course, we will conclude conversation on the state of the race in Kogi State and, of course, some of the allegations and controversies that have been raised against the governor, the government, and the APC. And we'll be getting some response to what Mr. Peter Obi said today. Stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. I told you earlier that our major focus will be what Peter Obi, the Labour Party candidate, said today at a press conference, putting up a challenge to President Bola Tinubu about his record and his identity. He said, introduce yourself to Nigerians. So we'll be hearing and getting response to what Mr. Peter Obi said today. And of course, the controversies ahead of the November 11 governorship election in Kogi State gets all talking, and we're getting some reactions from the state government. Kingsley Fanwo is the Commissioner for Information and the spokesperson of the APC campaign organization. He's been speaking with us virtually from Lokoja, our closing moment with him now. Let me ask you, there are controversies and those who say, oh, we've not seen your candidate. He's more of, your governor speaking on behalf of your candidate, and there are those who are asking why, and there are those who are also saying allegations of nepotism, and the governor had picked, in fact, Ajakan made that reference yesterday, that there is a reason why Governor Yaya Bello was bent on making Ododo the governorship candidate. Can you clear the air that there are no ulterior motives about the alignment of Ododo and Yaya Bello and gunning for APC to return to power in Kogi State?
There are motives, but the motives are positive motives. They are progressive motives. And let me clear this. You know, they kept coming here to say Ododo is Yahaya Bello's cousin. That's a blatant lie. It is not true. They are not even from the same political world. We need to clear this straight out. Secondly, they are not related in any way. You know, when you talk about blood relations, they are not related at all. Now, what we do in Kogi State from 2016 to now has been an issue of unity, people of capacity, capability of the person at the saddle. That is very key to us. Now, assuming they are even related, but not conceding to that fact, George Bush Sr. was president of the United States, and his son also became the president of the United States. Nobody was talking about the fact that the son of a former president was the president. No, they were talking about what George Bush Jr. could do for America. Now, what we are talking about in Kogi State, despite the fact that they are not related, you can say they are from the same local government, which is Okene local government. You know, it is about the capacity. It's about the competence. People from all over the state competed for the primary. And the delegates decided to fly with Ahmed Usman Ododo. Definitely they've seen something in him. Now, somebody that had been in the system for the past 7 years, who understood the system, who was part of what we call the citizen budget of the administration. We don't just sit down to write budgets. What we do is to go around the state to find out what the people need and also assess these needs before coming up with our budget. He has been a part of all of this as a member of the finance team of the administration. And now, nobody is as qualified as he is right now in the race. Many people contest them from within the system, the Accountant General of the states, the Commissioner of Finance of the states, the Commissioner for Local Government and Chief Council Affairs, and many other people, including the current Deputy Governor of the state. So all of them, as far as I am concerned, are competent, they are experienced, they've been in the system to be able to take it forward and consolidate and continue the beautiful, robust policies, programs, and agenda of the administration. The delegates went for Ahmed Usman Ododo, and then he is on the ballot. As of today, nobody understands Kogi better than him among the candidates. And when you are talking about him not coming out to be on television all the time, as I'm talking to you, Ahmed Usman Ododo is in a village consulting, talking to people. He has adopted this method to talk to people regardless of their political parties. And that is already yielding fruit. I am just coming in from Kaba, where the leaders, Okun leaders, were invited by the paramount ruler of the Okun people, the Obaro of Kaba, to talk to the stakeholders, the political stakeholders, about the need to ensure that there is peace in the coming election. He was assured of peace by the stakeholders, but they went further to say that Okun cannot afford to be in the minority party. They cannot afford to be in the opposition party. That Okun have decided as a race, as a nation, as an ethnic group, to go with Ahmed Usman Ododo. So you can see that what he's doing is paid off. It's better than coming to television to come and say that, Muri said this. What are you saying about it? That is not what we are saying. He's moving around. As he's consulting around, he's also looking at areas to be able to consolidate on the achievement of the present administration. The people that are not in the race, the people that are jittery, the fidgety people, are the ones that are running to television, even after killing souls, and be claiming that one is violent, the other one is not violent. But I can assure you, Sheil, our candidates will come to Channels Television. We will decide when he is less occupied, with consultations, with talking directly with the electorates in Kogi State who will vote on November 11. We will decide that. And he will come on television. Some people said he cannot even speak English. He cannot face the camera. He cannot. But you listen to his speech at the flag of his campaign. He spoke from his heart. He was not holding any paper. And he spoke better than those people that are coming on the television to spew what I would not want to say as a professional. But let me assure you, he will come here and address Nigerians and address Kogi. He is competent. He has the capacity to do it. You have seen it during the flag off, and he will come here to do it.
Kingsley Fanwo, thank you so much indeed. Commissioner for Information in Kogi said and spokesperson of the Kogi APC campaign organization. Thank you so much for your time. You've got a right of reply, and that is done. Thank you so much indeed. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Sheldon, for having me, and thank you, viewers around the world.
Let's switch our attention to our major focus tonight, which is what Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, said today. It is about President Bola Tinubu. He said he should come clean and tell Nigerians and his Nigerian of this embarrassment about the true identity and the qualification of the president. I'm being joined tonight by one person that is very close to the president, the National Secretary of the APC, Senator Basiru Ajibala. He joins us live here in our studio. Thank you so much indeed, Senator, for joining us tonight.
Yeah, good evening, Shane.
Appreciate it. You are close to the president. I mean, you've been with him. You've been his follower for a while. Why all these controversies about his person, about his record, about his past, about his identity? What can you tell us?
What I can tell you is that it's unfortunate that Mr. Peter Obi allow the seeming trauma that has affected Mr. Atiku Abubakar to also affect him too. And I would say that perhaps there will be need for our school of psychiatry to begin to look at what could be traumatizing some people after electoral loss. For somebody to spew the kind of rubbish, with respect that I say it advisedly, that Mr. Obi may spew in his press conference today, telling somebody who had been a senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria, chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriation, somebody who had rose in his professional career to be treasurer of Mobile, somebody who had ruled the most prosperous state in Nigeria, Lagos State, somebody who contested presidential election and won close to 8.9 million votes, to be talking about his identity, I think is preposterous. It shows, the kind of mentality and the kind of, shallowness of the perspective and understanding of Mr. Peter Obi and his co-travelers, particularly Atiku Abubakar or Siddiq Abubakar, whatever we may call him. So for somebody to rise to the level in corporate world, Mobile, and then you are talking about his identity being shrouded in mystery. If there's any mystery at all, I think the mystery is in the brain and possibly in the traumatizing effect of the electoral loss on Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar.
Those are strong words,
yes,
Senator.
Yes, because and when you begin to ask...
You're a senator. You've been a senator. You're national secretary of the party. You know not to use some words against some high-profile Nigerians who may be offensive.
If somebody decides to be offensive to the #1 city of Nigeria, it does not deserve any other words except words. Offensive. Come, if I ask you, Sinwo Kibaloye, as young as you are, and then because you contested an election and won an election, and somebody is saying you should come clean about your identity, it is argumentum ad hominem. That is argument ad absurdum. You are really live to the level of absurdity.
So
what I think,
Senator, you have a PhD in law, right?
Yes.
I know that you went to your first degree was probably in Lagos, right? You studied law. And, these are some of the things that are known to a few people. But if anybody questions you, what would you do? Would you make it public? Because if you have contested and if you have made yourself available to public contest and public life, should there be a problem declaring your identity to people if they are asking questions?
There is no problem. People are asking questions, they're asking with respect. I don't like using some expression. The questions are very stupid. Stupid in the sense that in the context on which they're asking that question, they're asking it in the context that they even are the one that want to bring our country to a problem. I don't know whether you have looked at the website of BBC Today. Their team of 3 investigators, they investigated the alleged an issue of certificate forgery, and they came with forensic analysis of what transpired in the misadventure of Atiku Abubakar in the CSU. What are the findings? The registrar of the school admitted that Mr. Bola Tinubu, not Miss or Miss Bola Tinubu, attended Chicago State University. For any decent human being, I think that put paid to the issue. There were also evidence from Chicago State University that there were different formats for which diplomas are issued. And as far as the American system of education is concerned, they don't place premium on, what they call diploma, which is corporate certificate. They actually place premium on transcript. And they released also the transcript of Mr. Bola Tinubu. And they also said in testimony under the position that the person they are referring to is none other person than person who is sitting as the president of Federal Government of Nigeria. What does any reasonable individual who is not, afflicted by a malady of electoral loss, will say and come to a conclusion? So if at all there is a doubt, there's controversy, it's self-contrived, ill-motivated, ill-advised, and of course it's a journey just, to continue to lie to their supporter. The election has been won, and lost, and this is the first time in Nigeria, Sheung, that people are now talking about election being manipulated. They are not talking about results, being written without any ballot in support of. They want to think that they first talk about 25% threshold in FCT. And now they are dropping that one now. They talk about the so-called forfeiture in the United States of America. They've dropped that one. Now they are talking about the fact that somebody graduated. You are alleging me, Ajibola Bashiru, that I will forge my LLM, PhD and BSc, and you ask me to answer you. I will not answer you. I will just look at you that you are just, wasting your time. So for him to say, what is he saying today? The president should come and address the country. Somebody who had the mandate of the Nigerian people. I think they are descending into the arena. And I think it is high time that the Attorney General and Federation should begin to look whether their act does not even amount to treason. Yes, you have freedom of expression.
By asking the president, their own president, the number one citizen of the country, and you are attributing it to treason by saying that come and tell us these controversies.
A prima facie case
that has
of
not been
treason
established in court about the identity of the president. And I'd like to ask you,
what they're also doing, let me tell you something, what they're also doing is also, sub judice. Before Mr. Atiku approached the court with his application for fresh evidence, he first addressed the public. Why do you need to address the public? If you want to adduce further evidence, adduce further evidence. Then to be lying, claiming that you are doing this for the purpose of Nigeria. Even the litany of lies of both Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi on issue of morality and issue of integrity is come to doubt. This is a person that Peter Obi, that was a governor for 8 years, did not conduct local government election, and he's talking about constitutional democracy. This was Atiku Abubakar, that the question of PTDF is still shrouded in controversy. There are issues about how the privatization policy has been done. He has not replied to the very damaging remarks made by President Obasanjo in my watch about his character, about his attitude, and about integrity in governance. I expect that somebody who places a premium on integrity, on morality in governance, should have President Obasanjo in court.
Let's not get distracted. Let's focus on the fact of the matter tonight. And it is about the identity and the profile and the records of President Bola Tinubu, which has been called to question. And I asked a question, Senator, that if you say you have a PhD in law, it's been questioned, you are running for president, what would you do simply?
I will not answer such people. Maybe my supporters can answer them. I would think that they are being, very stupid. I'm sorry to use that word on national television. For somebody who rose to be treasurer of Mobil.
So you are thinking that the president should not answer Nigerians who are asking
they are not Nigeria, they are litigants. They want to go to court. They have gone to Supreme Court. Let Supreme Court decide on that. They are not ordinary Nigerians.
Are you aware about the dovetailing effect, what this has caused, the traumatic effect of some of these arguments and debates outside of Nigeria to some Nigerians whose credentials and qualifications have not been questioned?
You see, Chicago State University has not said Mr. Bola would attend the university. What they are saying, when they went to Chicago, the misadventure of Chicago, let us Nigerians know, was to show that Mr. Bola Tinubu did not attend Chicago State University. Also to show that if anybody attended Chicago University, is a female. When those are now filled, the argument they are saying is that the font and the character of the certificate has differed. That there was one font in 1990, there was one font in 2000. For me, the issue is, did Bola Tinubu, was he a student at Chicago University? Two of his classmates, one of them who contested student representative election with him, deposed to an affidavit, and yet you're asking him to switch your identity. What I think is done, and happily enough, in a matter of weeks, the Supreme Court will decide on their election, petition. They are just saying, these things because they are bad losers. Elections are won and lost at the ballot. I contested the election in 2023. I lost. I did not have to, go into banalism. I did not have to scandalize, anybody. I did not even go to approach the tribunal. So they should be man enough, be democratic enough that elections are won and lost at the ballot and not on the basis of, raising baseless allegations that even, our students in kindergarten will be asking questions.
Let me ask you, since you're close to the president, I'd like to ask you a few questions. What is the official age of the president? The year he was born, do you know?
I was born in 1972, so I wouldn't know when he was born. So you can possibly look at his record, which was not an issue in Chicago State University. They mentioned the date of his birth in that record. So I was not born then. So I can only give you hearsay evidence as to the date of somebody who is older than me. It would be that somebody told me Bola Tinubu was born on so date. And as a lawyer, I don't engage in such, kind of hearsay, evidence.
So I imagine that because you're close to him, you might be privy as a leader of the APC. Some of these issues will come to your table, and as a lawyer, perhaps you are privy to it because he submitted all of these credentials by the authentication or authorization of your party, and there are issues about 1952, 1954. But let me ask you again.
He contested an election.
Just a moment.
Did he put 1954 there?
You're an ardent follower of late Gani Fawemi.
I'm not his follower. We are in the struggle together. I don't follow him. I don't have anybody I follow. I respect
someone
him.
that you respect very well.
Yes, I respect
the practice
him.
of law.
No,
are you aware of his own debate and his own the question that he raised about Mr. Bola Tinubu?
You know, people also raise questions about Gani Fawemi too. Festus Keyamo raised also issues about Gani Fawemi himself. So Gani Fawemi is not a saint. Gani Fawemi is not, fallible.
We're not talking about Gani Fawemi.
Even the issue that Gani Fawemi raised, he raised at that point in time, I think we must be able to realize. And Tobeka Kuyomi, who filled the form at that particular point in time, in 1999, owned up that he made, error in filling the form for Ashwad Bola Tinubu. He even went personally, he's still alive, to meet Gani Fawemi. But Gani Fawemi, still related in public what he discussed with him in private. He litigated the matter up to Supreme Court and nothing came out of it. So if a matter had been litigated 1999 to 2000, since that time, he contested in 2003 and won the election. He contested in 2023. Then after you lose at the election in February 25, you are raising the issue. There are so many issues people can raise. But the question is that the fact that Gani Fawemi raised the issue was able to establish it in law court. Law courts deal with concrete controversies.
Let me ask you, do you know or can you tell us the primary school and secondary school of President Bola Tinubu that he attended?
How would I know?
You are a party leader.
It's not.
Your party
let me tell you publicly.
Who submits?
I attended a primary school in Osogbo, Salvation Army Primary School. I gave a copy of my certificate to my stepmother, and I've not seen a copy of it today. So are you going to say that because I cannot lay hands on the copy of my primary school certificate, I did not attend primary school?
Is that the case with President?
I'm just giving you analogy of circumstances that could occur. So on the issue of primary school, it's not an issue in the election. What they are saying is that they have gone on a misadventure, wasting their ill-gotten money with lawyers in the United States to seek to establish that Bola Tinubu did not go to Chicago State University. The registrar said, yes, he attended. He was one of our brilliant students. And I think decent people should apologize to Nigerians for, believing, for trying to seek Nigerians to believe that our president did not attend Chicago State University.
Senator, what records were submitted by the president to your party that was submitted to INEC?
You only require, of course, you're going to expect me to be the record. The record that was submitted was not even an issue in any of these contests we are talking about. And I said go and pick the copy of the petitions, both by Atiku Abubakar and also Peter Obi. They are not raising issues about this thing. They are only raising it for the unsuspecting members of the public. I read Atiku's petition. Paragraph 146 of his petition only said that the president, that's the second respondent, was not qualified to a contest because he did not meet constitutional threshold. They did not specify what are the constitutional threshold. They did not specify the issue of age you are talking about. They did not raise the issue of a certificate. They did not raise any issue. It was after the petitions had been filed, responses had been raised. At the level of reply, they did not even raise this issue of Chicago State University. They are only raising the issue of dual citizenship, and the Court of Appeal said you cannot amend your petition after it had been filed. So there is no legal anger upon which all these, irrelevant arguments could
we just have 30 seconds to go. And I know, surely, that being in office, especially the highest office in the land, which is the presidency, is not only by legality, it's also, there are moral grounds. The issue of legitimacy of office is also there. The questions about those who feel that there is a moral burden on the president to be able to clear the air. Do you think that the president, for the sake of those who think that there is a dent or a sort of illegitimacy drawn into some of these controversies, the president might be able to speak to Nigerians about this issue? Do you think?
The president is busy dealing with serious matters rather than irreverent comments and the argument ad absurdum by losers and perennial losers at elections. So I wouldn't, dignify such people with a response, and I wouldn't want the president, I wouldn't advise him to even, think a bit about responding to them. If they want answer, let them go to court. They have approached the court, and the court will answer them.
That's the response of your party in this matter. That's how your party sees this.
Of course, that is what a reasonable person will see it. They are losers at election, and they are suffering from trauma of the loss of the election.
You don't think that it will be seen as a sort of arrogance?
Of course, anybody can say anything arrogant. You don't respond to argument ad absurdum. They have reduced their level to the level of absurdity that no reasonable person will bother to be responding to them again.
Those are very strong words that you are using for some eminent Nigerians who have legitimate reasons to debate this matter. But thank you so much indeed, Senator Ajibola Basiru, National Secretary of the APC. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Yeah, nice being here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure I'll see you again tomorrow at 7. God bless Nigeria.